In this session, I'm going to show you how to set up a SecuritySpy server within Remote Patrol HD. So after you launch Remote Patrol, you'll be presented with a blank screen like this. Notice that the SecuritySpy tab is the one that is selected by default when you open the application. You simply click the plus button, which will present you with a dialog to add a new SecuritySpy server. You can call the server whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you. You can set the color for the headings of the windows and the title bar type of thing to make it unique. This comes in handy if you have many servers or multiple servers in multiple locations and you want to easily be able to visually pick out which cameras belong to which server. You'll see that in a minute. But let's say we just make this a little more blue. Then you would enter the address. Now, the address depends on whether you are inside or outside of your local area network. So, for example, if you want to use your pad to look at your cameras while you're inside your own local area network, say at your house, you would enter the local address of the computer that is running SecuritySpy on your network. And that would look something like 192.168.1.15, for example. If not, then it could be from outside, and if it's outside, it's probably going to have a name similar to something like mycameras.selfip.com, for example, if you're using dynamic DNS. And what that does is when you're out and about and away from your house, you would be able to look at your cameras that are back at the house. Now, SecuritySpy has added a feature in their latest release 2.1.2, which will take care of dynamic DNS for you. And if you look into SecuritySpy under the web server setup, you will notice that they have a parameter for a dynamic DNS name that is locked into the viewcam.me ending. So you could very easily call your cameras anything you want, and it'll be .viewcam.me. And if you test that to see if it's available and you get a green light, then you'll know that you can use that name. And that would be the name you would use here for outside connection to your cameras. Like so. Now the port goes with also what you set up in SecuritySpy. So when you set it up, I believe the default is 8000. You can change it to anything you like. In my case, it would be port 55555. But it can be whatever you set it up to be. Just make sure it matches, whether it's local or remote, the port you set up in SecuritySpy. So I've set this up for a server that I have set up on our network here at the house. And it is a local address because I'm going to be using it from within my local area network. And the port I had specified is 5000. You put in your user ID and your password, which are the same user ID and password that you set up in SecuritySpy to allow you to have access to the SecuritySpy server. They must match. And then I'm going to click Done. When you're done, you'll be presented with the number of cameras that the computer found, or that the pad found, on the SecuritySpy server. In this case, 17. You can tell by the green light located there that the server is connected and that the user authentication, user ID and password, were correct. So all your settings are correct and it's currently operational. From there, you can tap it and you will go in and you can see all of the cameras in this column mode. And what it's showing you is a thumbnail picture, a still image from each of the cameras. Now that's current time. This date and time here is the date and time that the still image was captured. So these are pretty recent. Also, you can tell things like whether the camera is currently active or currently passive, and what capabilities the camera has. For example, this FOSCAM has the ability to pan and tilt, and this Panasonic BLC131A will also pan and tilt, but it will also respond to preset commands. Additionally, you can see that the default size of the image, 640 by 480 or 320 by 240, or even 704 by 480. These are read directly from SecuritySpy as the cameras were set up when you set up your SecuritySpy server. As you scroll, you can see the additional cameras that will fill in the images as you scroll. If there's not already an image there, it will go out and get one and put it on there. If there's already an image there, it won't replace it again, but if you wanted to update it, you could by just tapping on the picture. So watch this. Current time is 2:11. Now it's 2:11:25. So you can see that it updated the picture, and you can tap that as often as you like. You get a visual indication that it has changed pictures. Now once you have these cameras in here, if you wanted to hide some, or you had set up duplicates, which I do occasionally when I am having two different schedules, one for example for day and one for evening. For example, during the day I might want to record constantly or continuously to see what's going on if I was running a store. And at night I might only want to record when I see motion. That way I can use SecuritySpy to send myself an email if I saw motion overnight. No email, no activity. In the case of my setup here, I do have another set of cameras. I have the regular set, and then I have a set that is on a schedule for night, which does different things. So what I want to do is, in this case, hide them so they don't get duplicated when I bring them out on here. And to do that, you would click the edit button and then just hide each camera as it goes. And the reason you would hide instead of, say, delete the camera from the list altogether is because you will, or you might, want to look at history that was recorded on those night cameras at a later point when we get into reviewing the history. So that's why we hide it instead of deleting it. And that cuts our number of cameras down to 10 out of 17. We click Done. Now that you know how to set up a SecuritySpy server in Remote Patrol HD, I'm going to show you how to set up also an Indigo server in Remote Patrol. An Indigo server is the automation tool that is from Perceptual Automation, and it allows you to control your lights, turn them on and off, open your garage door when you're away, all sorts of things. It's an excellent tool, and I recommend that you look into it if you'd like to do automation in your house. I've integrated it into Remote Patrol HD so that you have the added benefit of being able to trigger events such as turning lights on and off or opening and closing garage doors, and being able to see it on one of your surveillance cameras at the same time. So with no further ado, to set up an Indigo server is no more difficult than it was to set up a SecuritySpy server. Basically, you click the plus button, where you are given an option to put in a name. Like so. And you need the same basic type of information. You need to know the address. And again, whether it's LAN or WAN, whether it's local inside your network or whether it is outside the network. In other words, you wish to be able to turn on and off lights inside your house only, or whether you'd like to be able to do that while you're out at dinner or away from the house somewhere. You would put that in here. So it could either be a name like myhouse.selfip.com or a local address. In the case of my example, it is going to be a local address, which usually begins with a 192.168.1 setting. And I'm going to add that now. Now that added an Indigo server to my setup in Remote Patrol HD, and as you can see, it tells you that there are 7 devices and 20 actions. Any of you familiar with Indigo server will know what those mean. It also tells you the IP address and port that the Indigo server is currently at. So we can very quickly demonstrate how this works by tapping on the Indigo server that we just created. And here are our 7 devices and 20 actions that are that were set up using Indigo. So up here, all the lights are currently off. What I've done is I've brought out one of the cameras, which is focused right now on a lamp that we're going to turn on and off remotely using Indigo while we watch it on SecuritySpy. So there's two ways to do that. One is to actually just work with the device and use that to turn things on and off. So let's try that. Front door lamp, and we'll turn it on, and the light comes on. We could leave it like that. We could shut it down by turning it off, or we could do some percentage that it fills, like 50% light. You can also do it through actions. So if you've created an action in Indigo, you can just say, hit your action button, and it will perform the function for you. And again, through SecuritySpy, oops, I hit the on. If we turn it off, you'll see that it goes off remotely. So anything you have in Indigo that you also have a SecuritySpy camera focused on, you can watch the action take place. And that concludes our discussion on creating servers in Remote Patrol HD. Please check out the other videos showing other features and capabilities of Remote Patrol HD so you can get the most out of your product. Thank you for your time.